All right, all right, all right, all right. We're live. We're live. Red dots up, and we're ready to go. Everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Holin None Podcast. I'm Shanky, and I'm joined by my hosts, Danny Bidness. How you doing, Danny?
Good, mate. How are you?
I'm good, thank you for asking. And Hayden High Tees.
Very good. Ready
Good.
to
I didn't,
roll.
I didn't ask, but that's good to hear.
Okay.
I'm kidding.
You never asked, Simon.
I always try to ask. Look, not a very, in my opinion, exciting week for golf, but look, there was things that happened. Justin Thomas didn't make the cut. Finau disappointed again. Surprise, surprise. And yeah, we're at the cusp now of who's going to make the actual FedEx Cup playoffs. So we'll talk about that in a bit. First up, though, this week, I was meant to do trivia. I think it was me. I may have forgotten to do it. We didn't really talk about it. So this week we're going to do something a little bit different. It's kind of like trivia. I'm going to ask you guys some questions, and we're going to see which pro golfer are you. I found this on a website. A little bit of fun to start. You're going to see who you are. So I'll ask you both a question. I'll put down your answers, and we'll see who you are. I've already done mine, so I was actually really surprised at who I ended up being, but I'll let you know at the end. So I'll kick it off with this. Which pro golfer are you? Now, this goes from being Tiger Woods to being Brooks Koepka, John Daly, all these different names. So we'll see who you end up as.
Yep.
Number one, what is your favorite major championship? So you have the Masters, US Open, British Open, and PGA Championship.
Are we doing it one at a time or both answers?
You can just say it out loud.
Mine's the Open.
Masters.
All right. British Open, yeah, the Open.
Yep.
How much time do you spend warming up on the course? So there's a couple options here. I warm up on the first few holes, more than 5 minutes, but less than 30 minutes, or 30 minutes or more to warm up.
30 minutes or more for me, typically.
It started being on the first few holes. Especially on the weekend.
All right. How do you hit the ball off the tee? I crush the ball off the tee. Now, be honest with yourself. I'm decent off the tee, or the driver is my worst club by far.
Ooh. What if they're all bad? What if I feel like I crush it, it just doesn't go in the direction I want it to go?
I think it's give whatever answer you think.
I honestly don't know. Can you answer for me, Simon? Honestly,
I won't answer for you. You answer for yourself. Be honest. Be true to yourself.
I think the middle one at the moment.
Yeah. It depends on the day. The middle one's probably the way to go.
Jeez.
The first tee, I always try to crush it, if that counts.
All right. How would you describe your fashion on the course? There's a couple different answers here, so try to keep up. I'll repeat them again. Doesn't matter as long as it's Nike. I always wear red in honor of Tiger Woods. Doesn't matter as long as it's Adidas or Adidas for the Americans who listen in. I always wear bright colors like orange, green, pink, and more. I always wear dark colors like black, navy, blue, and gray. And doesn't matter as long as it's Under Armour. So I'll repeat those one more time. Basically, I wear Nike. I wear red in honor of Tiger Woods. I wear Adidas. I wear bright colors. I wear dark colors, or I wear Under Armour.
Mine, I guess, if it doesn't really fit to any of those, but it would be the bright colors one, because most of my shirts have some form of brightness to them.
Oh. No. One sec. I accidentally I answered yours for Hayden's by accident.
No,
give me a sec.
Are mine bright colors? Not really. I think that both my golf shorts are Under Armour, so it's probably the fairest answer.
Under Armour for Hayden?
Yeah,
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah. And Dan, you wear bright colors. Yeah.
Even though I hate the Under Armour shirts, it went on record. Jordan Spieth copped it.
He did. Next question. How is your putting? My putting is always really good. I am an average putter, or I am a terrible putter.
I would say I'm somewhere between average and always good at the moment, for sure. So I'm going to go always good. Always good.
Okay.
I think if I had to say on average, apart from Sunday, I would say my putting's better than average. So I would say always good. If I had to pick, I'd be on the good side of
Interesting. I answered I'm an average putter. Do you guys
You
think
are an average putter, though.
you think I'm an average putter or a good putter?
I think you're a good putter.
You're an average bloke all round, I think.
Okay. Dan's on the ones.
Pepsi's
No,
mate.
just
Pepsi
kidding,
Max
just kidding.
for me tonight.
What is your favorite? Speaking of which, what is your favorite alcoholic beverage? Is the next question. You have beer, vodka, whiskey, wine, all of the above, or I don't drink.
On the course or in real life?
It's not specific, so your call.
It would be obviously as wine for me then. On the course, obviously, would be beer.
Hayden?
I'll probably go whiskey.
I went whiskey. Choose your favorite athlete out of the names listed. Wayne Gretzky. For those of you who don't know, that's hockey. Michael Jordan, Rob Gronkowski, Tom Brady, or Mike Trout and David Beckham.
Ooh.
Gronk and Brady on there. That's a weird list.
Yeah, someone's
Who
a
was-
Patriots
what
fan.
was the what was the second one again?
Michael Jordan.
I'd probably go Gronk out of those, I guess.
I'll probably go Brady.
I knew you would.
Mm.
All right, Hayden. Which PGA Tour player do you think you are?
I think the Under Armour would make it be Jordan Spieth.
You are Tiger Woods.
Oy.
Yeah, take it. Best golfer in the world, mate. You're Tiger Woods.
Oh, because Brady's the GOAT. That's probably why.
Dan, who do you
What?
think you are?
What? I'm sure
Who do I
Tiger
think
warms
I'm?
up.
He's probably a Brady
I
fan.
don't
That
think
was
Tiger's
probably the
ever
only
drunk
answer that
whiskey
mattered.
in his life.
It's got to be the GOAT comparison there. Me, out of those answers there, I would say it's going to be someone silly like Patrick Reed or something.
No, you're Phil Mickelson.
Oh, Tiger and Phil. Here we go. More
Tiger and
enemies.
Phil is good answers. I ended up being John Daly. I don't know how. I didn't say anything about bright clothes. I did say whiskey, but yeah, John Daly.
I
So
thought I would have got John Daly. Like,
hey, take it.
so hold on. Whiskey doesn't warm up. Kind of okay off the tee. Like, what? How's that Tiger?
You've come up as Tiger, man. I'll send you a screenshot.
Resin's
I even had to
braces.
redo yours just to check.
We'll have to.
Oh,
we'll
to
have
be fair, the options were the only possible pros it could have been was Tiger Woods, Brooks Koepka, Phil Mickelson, Rory McIlroy, Dustin Johnson, and John Daly. So those were the only options available. So Spieth wasn't even on there.
I'm probably more of a DJ of all of them, to be honest. Just like
Mm,
drinks.
eh,
Yeah, I don't know. Like,
I don't
I'm
know.
definitely not a
DJ's
Rory.
well, DJ's actually cool though. So
True.
Ooh, burn.
Ooh,
I like
there we
that
go.
Simon obviously put
Oh.
himself down as crushes it off the tee.
Yeah.
I didn't actually. I actually
Oh.
didn't. I put myself as an average. Like I put everything as average.
Okay.
This guy, bro.
I think it was the whiskey that turned me over to John Daly.
It would have been.
All right. On that note, guys, we're gonna get into the 3M championship. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't enjoy it at all. I had it on a little bit. Like I was talking to Hayden just before the pod. It was a very awkward time. I had other things going on the weekend. I tuned in when I could, but mainly just watched the highlights from the round. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, I watched probably 45 minutes of all 4 rounds live.
Yeah.
I got up early to watch it, and the coverage was ending, and I watched the end with Luke Hodges. The end of Lee Hodges round, and that was kind of cool. But I think I had golf burnout on TV, so I wasn't like dying to watch it either.
If there was another major, I would have watched the whole thing. But this competition, we spoke about it last week. Like, not a lot of big names. Just it's a fairly low level competition. Lee Hodges, congratulations on your first PGA win. Way to go! He was striping it, like he was leaving these balls within a foot of the hole. So on round 4, so he was, as Danny Business likes to say, just going and taking it. Getting that win. So congratulations to Lee. But overall, I couldn't give any F's about this tournament.
It's hard going into a final day when for the second week in a row, someone wins by a touchdown.
Yeah.
Like it's they're kind of like, is he gonna do something? You kind of like, do be bad for a little bit, make it interesting. But like, yeah, no, it's
I think the comps that are on at the moment are really just players that are trying to make FedEx Cup still, right? So the big names are the ones who still probably need a few extra points, and then maybe trying to jag a couple of extra wins. But I think
apart from Tony Finau, he doesn't need the points. He's in the top
this
10.
is when he comes into his own at the end of the year, right? He's like
just bashing up on all these.
I think it was, for me, I didn't like watching it. I hardly watched it at all. I liked the first couple of days. I watched the beginning of it because it was on at a better time for us. But I think I wasn't too worried about Hodges winning it by so much because I was more just cheering on the bets that we had. So just trying to make sure that people were inside the top 10 and inside the top, whatever. So I couldn't care, which probably goes to say some more about the competition, that I couldn't care less about who won it. But again, good on him. A couple of Aussies in the top 10 again, which is great.
Yeah. Cam Davis needed that for sure.
Cam Davis and Aaron Badelli.
Yeah, I haven't followed much of Aaron.
Yeah, he's got the cool ponytail. He looks like a surfy dude.
Yeah, and just a lot of Americans. It's a lot of, you can tell the PGA Tour's back on American soil, right? I mean, look at this.
And probably the most notable thing from the event wasn't actually who won the event. It was the fact that Justin Thomas didn't make the cut.
But there was still another week of sort of notable cuts. The Gala, obviously JT Højgaard. I thought he was going to do well, and he had a chance to do well. Cameron Young, he was a top-rated world ranking player going into this. Maybe he had a bit of fatigue from the Open.
I mean, look at our bets, Sanjay.
Yeah, I think he must have had some fatigue from the Open. Yeah, Sanjay didn't make it. Boy, Foxy didn't make it either.
I think it's hard. Like, I mean, even Sepp Strucker, who I figured Sepp would go in here pretty hard. He's obviously Cam Percy. It's too late to leave it to this event to try and book your spot. Like, you can't come out of the Open at like the hardest week of golf, literally playing in a typhoon, and then come here and try and I better play good and get my spot in the FedEx Cup playoffs. It's just
but do they actually even care? They just played the Open. Now they're going to some low-level event. Yes, they need to make the FedEx Cup, but do they actually care?
Probably not so much to Justin Thomas because he gets in off exemptions, but to the elevated events, sorry. But some of these other guys, they have to do it. I mean, it's hard because they're playing for money every week. They have to show up every week. They're sitting on wait lists hoping people get injured so they can play. Like Harry Higgs, he's first up for this event. There's no way he's getting a game.
No. Poor Harry, man. I like Harry, but his game has just not been on.
Yeah, he turned it on in a couple of events, but yeah, he's got some
well, the one before.
Head noise. Yeah, he's got some head noise, that fella.
Well, look, unless there's anything else you guys want to talk about for this event, I'm happy to move on. There were a couple topics we wanted to kind of get into that we didn't really, they've been going on for a while, but we haven't really spoken about them. Danny, did you have anything you want to say?
The only other thing I was going to say is that Billy Horschel did pretty well. It's the first time he's actually played decently in a comp of late, so I guess that's sort of good to see.
Yeah.
Looking down the list here, it's just full of nobodies. So yeah, no, I'm happy to wrap that up.
I disagree with the Billy Horschel. If Billy Horschel was playing as Billy Horschel should, he should have dominated this event. He should have won easily.
Yeah, but he's not been. I'm saying he's trying to get back in form, just like JT, right? But at least moving in a positive direction, unlike JT.
Yeah, JT's in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know. All right. Well, on that note, one of the topics of discussion that we thought could be interesting for this pod was bifurcation. Bifurcation is something that's been talked about a lot recently, and the effect it will have on the professional, the higher level game of golf. I'll let Hayden High-Tees take it and explain what exactly that means.
Yeah, cool. So the reason that I was wanting to bring this up is it's been floated around. Basically, what bifurcation is golf courses are becoming a little bit redundant, and we saw this at the Boston event that Keegan Bradley won. It's too short now. So the answer that the RNA and the USGA have is that they think they're going to do an MLR, which is a model local rule that comes out in January 2026, that the golf ball that pros use in local rule tournaments, so the tournaments themselves have to adopt this rule, which is where they're finding some trouble now, is they have to use a special ball that when it's hit by a robot at 127 miles an hour, that ball cannot fly more than 320 yards. So what that means is the pros that have really, really high swing speeds and can punch the ball really far, guys like Rory, it's going to pull them back, but it's going to pull everybody back who's got good like pro swing speeds, kind of in line with each other. This is like the prime example why this has become a thing is like Augusta. They literally had to buy part of the next door golf course and tee off across the road to lengthen one of the holes to make it. They did that this year in Augusta in the Masters. So they changed the golf course because it was too easy for the pros, which wasn't reflected in the scores, but that's what they did. So that's the RNA and the USGA. So the RNA, they run the Open, the British Open. The USGA run the US Open. So they're on board. They want to bifurcate the ball. They want to roll the golf ball back for the big hitters. The reason that this come up is Jay Monahan is back off his sick leave, and one of the first things he does, he sends a memo out about all the live golf stuff, but he said the PGA Tour will not support bifurcation. So the PGA Tour, which is all the events such as your PGA Championship, what else did I write down? So the ones, the PGA events, the Augusta Committee have said no comment. The DP World Tour have said no comment. So if bifurcation rolled out today, the PGA Tour events wouldn't be bifurcated. Half the majors would, half the majors wouldn't. So why they're doing is they're basically tiger proofing. So when the next tiger comes through and destroys all the courses, which Bryson threatened to do in his prime, they're trying to stop that. They're trying to stop them from becoming obsolete. They're trying to stop them having to like build and become longer. And distances over the last 20 years off the tee have got 1 yard longer every year. So 20 years ago, we're 20 yards longer now, and they're trying to get ahead of it. So it's a lot to unpack there. But the fact that Jay Monahan's come out and said, we don't like it. The biggest vote for it is Rory, and almost every other pro hates it with a blinding passion. So I want to know, now that I've unpacked it all for you guys, right? Mm-hmm. Even the big, the RNA, the USGA, the PGA, the DP, the Augusta board, no one can agree. What do you think?
Danny, you want me to go first?
Yeah, sure, go for it.
Okay, so definitely a lot to unpack. Jay Monahan does not have the best track record for what he says being what happens. Yeah. So let's exclude Jay from this commentary, I think. Mm-hmm. In terms of should the PGA adopt it, my opinion, yeah, they should. And the reason I think they should is because if you look at strokes gained, that's the first thing. Like if you can hit it long and you know, get it further up the fairway, you have a huge advantage. That doesn't mean you're a good golfer, right? You know, you can smack a ball on, like you could look at someone like Bryson, right? Can smack a ball further than most and no short game, right? That's a big part of golf. And when he's destroying these courses, it almost inflates someone to say they're good when they're actually probably not that great. Like I think someone's great when they can put the ball in a good spot in the fairway and then put the ball in the middle of the green every single time, right? I think watching the Open, I mentioned it last week, was a great example of the fact that people aren't hitting driver. They're not trying to just get it as far as possible because that doesn't help you, right? So there's a lot of these courses there's a lot of designs, I think, that you can do to a course to stop it without bifurcation. But at the same time, a lot of these courses aren't on the coast that would have a lot of wind that would make it a lot harder, right? There are a lot of, that are going to increase the spin on a ball and make it go not where you want it to go. So that's really hard to do for some of these places, and it would still make them obsolete. So for me, bifurcation, it only impacts the pros, and it really shows what they can potentially do like outside of just smacking it as hard as they can. and it doesn't affect us, right? It doesn't affect the local player. So, we're still going to get the best technology. We're still going to get good golf balls that go as far as they can. If you want to play a golf ball that reduces your distance, go for it. But, an amateur, I don't think any amateur would actually want to do that. And none of us in our lifetime are going to probably have to experience that. So it doesn't affect me. And I would like to see, so if you're a really good ball striker and you're hitting it, really good as you should off the tee and getting it in play and getting where you should, distance shouldn't be what you're worried about. If you're worried about distance as your advantage, then you need to work on the rest of your golf game, in my opinion. And I'll leave it at that for now.
Cool.
Yeah, I think I've got a couple of thoughts even on what you just said then. The thing that I worry about if they adopt it is a couple of things. Is are we going to keep getting the best technology? Our golf ball design is going to push as hard to create these new technologies inside the balls because the pros aren't going to be hitting them anymore. How do they advertise these balls, right? It's the pros play them, that the ads are on during the golf, right?
Mm.
But they're not going to be able to do that anymore. Apart from that, I can only imagine what sort of, potential lawsuits and things like that will come out from Titleist, from Pro V1s and things like that, having to roll back the ball. But from a fan point of view, I actually like the idea of having some with and some without. I like the idea of the Open being rolled back to an older generation ball where it's like, oh great, this week we get to see this type of ball, and that's a really cool thing. And then next week you go to 3M and it's just guns blazing, hit it as far as you can. I really like that idea. I think that's kind of cool. And if there's two Opens where you have one, the older style ball, and then two Opens where you have the newest technology possible, I think that's a great thing as well, because then you open up the door for more winners. What I'd be concerned about is if every week we were watching this slower swing speed ball, the ball that doesn't go as far, does that just mean more Brian Harmons winning? More of these short hitter, because he's not a very long hitter, right? He's just a bit more accurate. And on that course, like you said, Shanky, it wasn't about getting it down as far as you can, and he showed that through his accuracy. And obviously he got very lucky, but I like seeing Rory hit 350, 360 yard drives. I think that's awesome. And I would love to see that live, and to not be able to see that as a sports fan, I think that would only take away from the sport rather than add to it. So having a mix of both, if the British Open really wants it, because they've got, and I understand why they would, because most of their courses are like, 150 years old, that they just can't do anything because there's only limited space in those small countries, right? Whereas these American ones, they've got land for days. They can just keep buying, keep making it bigger, and maybe making the course difficult in other ways rather than distance as well. So I think that having a mix of the two is probably the best answer for the sport from a viewing point of view, and from a professional game as well.
I think you touched on a couple of good points there, a couple of really good points. The big pride thing in America is like, oh, this is a eat die course, or this is this course, that this is the architect. But then they're so quick to go renovated in 1984 by this guy, but they'll always refer back, and they always refer back and refer back. But every time that they have to do that, they lose a little bit. So I think, and the other bit that you said, like about like, roll back on like the Open, it's quite interesting, because like I agree with you, but then I was thinking they probably actually don't need to, because they aren't hitting 360 yard drives at the Open kind of thing. So
but maybe they have to use driver where they would maybe use a long iron instead, which makes it a little bit more difficult as well.
Yeah. So I mean, that's also a really big a call out, I guess, to the way that the US courses are kind of designed, those long tree covered fairways, and you have to hit it that far. And the architects are the losers here too, the ones that design these beautiful courses, and then guys like Bryson just go, oh, I'll just train for 6 months and then just hit 30 meters past your bunkers, too bad, kind of thing. So yeah, it's quite interesting. It'll be interesting to see what comes out of it. I personally feel, because I feel like it's all going to fall over and they'll do nothing.
Yeah.
And I think that the way that Joe Monahan's come out, and now he's all like, no, we will not, because the only guy he's pissing off is Rory, and Rory's already been hung out to dry.
Yeah.
All of the other
we
ones,
will not join Live.
All the other players are against it, apart from, I saw Peter Malnati, big fan of bifurcation. He hits the ball shorter off the tee than I do. So
is that possible?
Well, first of all, Hayden bombs it with a 3-wood almost as long as we can hit it with our drivers. So Hayden high tee's not struggling off the tee, I don't think. But unpacking a bit of what Danny Business just said. So I was trying to keep up with what you're saying. The brand suing, I don't really think it matters. You know, they don't make the rules. They just kind of go with it. And if anything, I think that if they do this, then it will actually make them have to invest more into their technology, into their balls, into everything to just make them stand out even more. So, you know, if your ball can only go 320 yards off a 127 mile per hour swing, if you can show that your balls have more control, that your balls have more consistency, they're better developed. Like if you can show that, then that'll be how they make their money. For those like Titleists who just say, "Oh, ours just go the furthest," you know, it's just a new challenge for them. I think they should overcome and not just whine about it and start suing because they.
Think about the money they put into marketing for every week we always hear about how many pros played the Pro V1 and the Pro V1X, how much money they've spent on the marketing for that, and how much ad space they take up on not only the broadcast but podcasts and things like that as well. And
I think
the players.
Yeah, but that's
that,
that's an investment they chose to make. The PGA, the USGA did not tell them to do that, right?
Yeah, I know.
And it's a huge
partners in business is not. I don't think that there'll still be something. There'll be some sort of compensation for them or something. But that wasn't the main point that I was making. The rest of it was really the main thing.
I'll let you get back to your point, but I just want to touch on that before you move on, Simon. Let you go back to it. But like, so Titleist, right? So 5 out of the top 10, we figured out last week, use a Titleist ball. I think statistically it is the best ball. Just talking about purely being hit by a robot 1,000 times, it's the Pro V1 is the best ball generally. Pro V1X, TaylorMade's there, a few other balls, but like I just feel like even if they bring out a bifurcated ball, further what Simon was saying, I think you nailed it. They will have the best. They have the most amount of technology just thrown at their golf ball. They're so legendary. Their bifurcated ball will just be the best ball, and they still get to make the best ball in golf, which will be the Pro V1 that we'll all probably still use. Well, not Simon, obviously, but we'll probably still use Pro
V1s. I got a bag
V1s.
full of Pro V1s, mate. I'm trying different balls.
So, but like I just feel like it, like, and you're bang on. Titleist would be like, challenge accepted. We're going to make the best bifurcated ball you can make, and we're still going to have the Pro V1.
Yeah.
So back to you. Sorry, as you were.
I actually really like Dan's idea about having some events where the bifurcations applied and some where it's not. I think that's actually a really good idea because some of the courses obviously can handle the distance, but some obviously cannot. So I think turning it on and off is actually a great idea, and that way we get to see a little bit of both. It doesn't make their products completely irrelevant to pros. Like you can see, the pros, for these events are still using them. So I actually really do like that idea. In my opinion, some of the best holes in golf are the reachable par fours. So if you make a par four reachable in 320 meters again, or yards, we'll have that as the point where, if that's the max you can go and you can get there. Yeah, give them the opportunity to go for it, but severely punish them if they're not 100% accurate.
Like that one at Oak Hill. Remember the one at Oak Hill uphill?
Yep.
That was like one of the best holes in golf.
That's a great one. I think 17 on the Waste Open, I think is a reachable par four.
Yeah.
That's an amazing hole.
That's like a 3-wood or I think even for some of the guys. But that's what I'm saying.
An amazing hole.
The courses. The other thing on having, if they just did the bifurcated ball on like special events, those things would sell like hotcakes if they came out. Like Pro V1 was like, this is the 2024 bifurcated open ball, and it'll have like special logo on it, and people will pay absorbent amounts of money to get their hands on those, right? And then you get Rory's signed ball from the Open, things like that. There's lots to it if it was a special thing. I don't think you'd want to see it every week.
Yeah. What's the course that Keegan won up in New England? What was that? It's one of the shorter courses on tour, and it's legendary, and the players love it. It's got it's like the heart, like one of the hearts of the PGA Tour. But
Keegan Bradley won.
Travelers? It's Travelers, wasn't it?
Yeah, it might have been the Travelers. It's up in New England. I can't remember.
Keegan Bradley won the Zozo.
Rocket
Yeah.
Mortgage?
No,
No. I thought it was the Travelers.
I think it was
but-
the Travelers. Yeah, we'll find out what course it was and find out how long it is. But like, it's legendary. The players love it, but it's like too short. And then a bifurcated ball would fix that event.
Yeah.
Well,
And
it wouldn't fix it, but I mean, Keegan wouldn't win by 28 under or whatever he won by.
Yeah. And that's the other thing too. A lot of these guys scores are getting lower and lower. Like you're getting, even this week, Lee Hodges got to what, -24?
24, yeah.
That's
He
it's,
won this.
it
he
just
only
makes
won-
it
yeah, he won
seem
the
too
track.
easy. It makes it
Yeah.
seem like like an amateur course. I wouldn't want that at my course.
But
But anyway.
I don't mind. Like, I think this year we've had a pretty good mix of like really low scores like this and some really close ones. Like we seem to week to week it changes, right? Where you're winning by just a couple, and then so it's like that's part of golf too. Like sometimes people are going to win by heaps because that's just the way golf is, and sometimes it's going to come down to really close. Like you just said, they bought that extra land at Augusta, and the scores were better anyway.
Yep.
So what's really, the thing about athletes these days compared to 20, 30 years ago in any sport is they always find a way to be better. There's
Yep.
always going to be a way to be faster, stronger, more agile, and that's all that's going to happen with golf. They'll find a way to hit it further, or they'll find a way to not need to hit it further anymore.
The best comparison for bifurcation I saw, because I did a bit of research, was that they were saying basically throughout the world you can use aluminium, metal, baseball bats, but when you're in the MLB and when you're in the pro leagues, you hit a wooden bat, and they're regulated, and they're just like basically that's your comparison.
Yeah, because
No.
every baseball stadium's the same size, right? Like you start improving the technology to like hit the edge of the park, like it's not going to be fun anymore.
Yep.
For
And
even
one
for
of the worst
fans.
things you can do is like pork a bat, and
Yeah.
so.
And then-
That's why I'm
and the
saying why not have rules that are different for different areas of the world? Like, European golf is bifurcated and US is not, or
Yeah.
whatever it might be. He won at TPC River Highlands, by the way, at the Travelers. That's what you were trying
There
to
you go.
find.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Travelers.
See, it's
Yeah.
good. Quickly Google, Dan. You're good at Google. How long is that course? How long is that course? I feel like it's like
It's
64.
like
I'm guessing 64.
Yeah, it's
TPC River Highlands. Do you want yards?
yeah.
Sure.
Why not?
Uh,
I think it's
a
like
par-
less than
it's a par 70, so it's not a very high
Not very
par.
long.
Distance. Maybe come back. It's not. No, it's telling me how far away it is from us. It's 15,585 kilometers away from where we are right now.
Okay.
Good to know.
6,841 yards.
Yeah. So not super long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Which is-
Well, it's a great debate. I think I know we're talking about you're kind of saying like US has a ton of land as well to do it. I think that will run out. Like you can't and
I mean,
not
look
only
at
that,
LA Country Club. LA Country Club. It's surrounded by mansions. They can't. There is no more
Yeah.
land.
they start
Yeah,
putting
so maybe that's
putting
what they do
land.
bifurcate.
Yeah.
I mean,
the
it would be
corporate
cool
Yeah,
if
good point.
it would be cool if maybe they got sponsored by Elon Musk and became like space golf and they just started building up instead of like But anyway, it's a great debate. Like I said before, I'm for it. I see no reason. It's only going to affect those whose whole game is distance, and to me, that's not the most important thing in golf. So I'm all for it. To answer the question, go for it.
Sure.
Okay. Cool.
All right. Moving on, we'll get I think to this week's picks with Danny
Yeah, we'll
Business,
have,
Danny's Bagels Business.
So last week, I was the only one who took any money away. So Finau was a top 10 for me, which was great at 288. So I managed to only lose $1 instead of $30 this week. So I'm down to negative 177.60. Shanky, you lost out on all three of yours, unfortunately. A bit of a tough run for your players this week. And Hayden, your guys all lost as well.
What about my
Ramey.
Bo Hostler and the
No,
Camp
you
Champ
were-
pull out?
You went with Ramey, not Hostler. I was looking at the sheet now. So you went with Ramey, and Ramey came 50th.
Did I?
So you lost, unfortunately. So Hayden's still in the lead, though, on $65.30 in the positive. Simon is down $89.05. So the race is not getting any closer, unfortunately. But maybe we can change it up this week. So this week, what we're going to do is we've obviously got the Live event and the Wyndham. So we're going to go with Live. We're going to do our sort of for lack of a better term, fantasy draft that we did last time. We're going to pick 4 players each in a snake. So it's going to go me, Simon, Hayden, Simon, me. So we get 4 players. We're going to, what we're going to do is we're going to add the scores up just like Liv do. So your top 3 players' scores are going to count at the end of the week. And whichever team ends up with the best score gets the $30 takeaway. Then we're also going to pay out if you pick the winning player of the tournament at whatever the odds are, and also any T5s that we get as well. And I'm going to add in 1 bet for the Wyndham at the very end. So we're going to start the draft with me for the Live event, which, where do we say that was? At Greenbrier. And I'm going to go straight off the bat and take Captain America himself, Mr. DJ. Is my pick, Dustin Johnson. Shanky?
Yeah, I'll take Brooks.
Taking Brooks.
Cool. I'll take Taylor Gooch
Gucci.
and then Patrick Reed.
Reedy.
I wanted to read.
I know.
Who you got, Shanky?
I'll go Cam.
Cam Smith, I'm assuming.
Yep.
All right.
Another Cam?
Cam Smith. I wanted to do something a little bit different, but your guys' teams are shaping up very quickly. I'm going to go with... What do we got? There's not a lot left after that already. I'm going to go with... let's go with the DeChambeau. Why not? DeChambeau. And then back to me. I'm going to go DeChambeau. I'm going to pair him up with... I'm going to pair him up with HV3. Maggie?
Yeah, let's go. Let's go with Louis. Oosthuizen.
I'm not going to learn how to spell that. So I'm just going to say Oost. There you go.
I'm gonna go Peter Uline.
Shall I say that again?
Peter Uline.
Uline.
Yep, and I'm gonna go Munoz again. Munoz is gonna deliver. Big supporter, big fan.
Munoz. I like it.
I'll take Mito.
Mito?
He was my other guy. I was like,
I knew. I was really hoping you weren't going to take him.
Alrighty. What do you say, Mito?
Mito Pereira.
Mito. Trying to find the leaderboard for like the season-long leaderboard. So I feel like I'm just going to take whoever is next in line. Is probably the best way to do it. Who have we missed?
There's some big names. There's some good names there.
You got your boy Brandon.
Benny Lee, one of your fellow Kiwis.
Crazy, you reckon? I'm gonna go with what? I'm gonna go with Ortiz.
Okay.
Put a bit of Mexican in there. Why not? Cool. So teams are my team: DJ, DeChambeau, HV3, and Ortiz. We got Shanky with the team of Brooks Koepka, Cam Smith, Oosthuizen, and Mito Pereira.
Very
And
solid.
We got we got high tees with Gucci, Reed, Uline, and Munoz. So there we go. We can maybe come up with some team names later. The only other bet I wanted to add in there for this week, which I thought I'd throw in as a bit of a freebie.
Bit of a bonus bet.
For the Wyndham. Does JT make the cut, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Yes. Let's put that in there. And you know what? I'm just going to go no, just to be different.
You know what? Surely he can figure out how to play golf again.
I just think that it might be, for the yes, you're probably going to get $1.10, and then for a no, you'll probably get get $5. I think so.
$1.10.
Bonus, will he win?
Will it win? Well, obviously I'm saying no. Nah, there you go. So we've got a free bet for JT. Will JT make the cut? And then we've got the old fantasy teams going there for the live draft again. Good job.
Right. That's fun. I like the bets, and live's a bit easier to watch too normally. But I think, where's Greenbrier? Is that what state is that
in? US.
What state? Yeah, if it's West Coast, it might be all right. If it's not, yeah, it might be hard as well.
I really like the DJ pick. As soon as you were like Greenbrier, I was like, oh, DJ.
Captain America. That's what I thought.
Yeah, himself.
Yeah.
Greenbrier is in. It just says USA.
Come on, Captain Google. Come on.
On the Live website. It's not a
Pretends
very
he
good
doesn't
website.
know how to Google it.
Yeah.
Oh, I've never done this
It's-
before.
Yeah.
Haven't done this since last week.
How do I get rid of just trivia picks?
Greenbrier. I'll Google it. I'm trying to use the official Live website, but it's not very user friendly.
Yeah, don't go to Live. It's not great. All right. On that note,
Main Street.
Danny Business, we'll leave it. Don't worry about it. We'll get into our Holin Out segment.
West Virginia. There you go.
Oh,
It just has DJ written all over it.
Hopefully.
yeah, it actually does. All right, cool. So on that note, great picks for the week. I do like those teams. But let's move to our Holin Out part of the segment, finishing it off. And this week, I'm going to change things up, and I'm going to start with Danny Business.
Yeah, great, mate. Thanks for that. I appreciate it. Hold out this week. I'm gonna hold out on going old school a little bit. So last night or over the weekend, fan of the show Johnny 3 Parts or 4 Parts wanted me to make some bagels for him and his family. So I ended up making them last night because I got a little bit too drunk over the weekend and wasn't able to make them. So I made them last night, fresh out of the oven, walked them over to his house because he's within walking distance. At about 8 o'clock at night with some fresh bread straight out of the oven. So the auntie of the house said that she could smell them coming from down the street. So just walking down, bagels in hand, on the oven tray still, just made me think of back in the day when you used to actually go and talk to your neighbors and ask them for stuff when you ran out of things, right? Whereas these days you've got so much access to everything. It's not very often you walk over to somebody's house with food, not to do something, right? So just to drop off and leave. So yeah, nice little evening walk last night with some freshly baked bread.
Lovely. And just for anyone who's new to the pod, Danny Business Bagels makes probably some of the best bagels in the country. I don't even think that's an over exaggeration. They're fantastic. They got the cheese, they got the jalapenos, and they got a little bit of bacon. Sometimes it goes wholemeal. It doesn't matter. They still taste amazing. Danny, but I'd hold out on those myself if I could, but I'll leave that to Danny Business. Up next, Hayden High Teas. What are you holding out on?
Yeah, I'm gonna go like a similar vein there. We had something happen. My wife's car got hit by a speeding drunk driver. It was parked outside our house in the middle of the night, and I went door knocking around my neighborhood. There's quite a few cameras around, and people were like happy to be outraged on our behalf, and they could not wait to get their camera, get their phone out, show me that, look, these are my cameras. They're telling me the make, model of their cameras, downloading footage. Everyone couldn't be more helpful. They wanted to get their pitchforks and go find that driver of that white ute that crashed into her car. But yeah, just like sort of the same thing, like neighbors, everyone getting together, and like I got to meet probably like 8 people I haven't spoke to before, and they were just really nice people. So yeah, just public outrage.
Nice. No fights from that. No fights.
No. Everyone was good. I mean, lucky that the car didn't drive past again, because I had like a lynch mob ready to go.
Just did you put up the posters on the telephone posts or anything saying, have you seen this car?
Community groups. I put the footage up and said, look, if you see a white car with blue stripes on it, the blue stripes are from my wife's blue car. So
yeah, lovely. Well, on that note, I'm holding out on, this is a bit different. I'm holding out on seatbelts. All right. Now I got a bit of a problem with the old Jimny. The seatbelt keeps locking. Like I can't pull it down. Like it hasn't been used. I pull it down, it won't move. You know how it locks? If you pull it too tight, it's like the safety feature so that you don't get thrown like through the windshield. If you go too fast, it'll just lock. Yeah, I just pull it normally and it locks. And then I try to like do the thing where you like wedge it up, and then it like still like it just won't come. And you can't yeah, and you no matter how hard you yank it, you can lube it up, it still doesn't work. And then you can't, it's illegal to drive without your seatbelt on, right? So it's like I'm sitting here, I can't pull the seatbelt on, I'm just yanking it, and it doesn't work.
I think that's illegal too, yanking it in the cars. I think that's frowned upon.
Frowned upon illegal.
This is what happens when he gets stuck practicing golf for 3 hours tweaking. Kirsten, I could get that damn seatbelt.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm holding out on good seatbelts because man, sitting in the sitting in the car, yanking it for like 5 minutes, it's just it's not
Not a good
fun.
look. No.
It's annoying, and it's been
It's a
happening
hot
a lot
day.
lately. It's been happening a lot. So
So do
yeah,
do you think it's defective? Do you think, or do you need to take? Is it something that you need to take back or get looked at, or?
I don't know. We've had it for almost 5 years. I don't know if it's something you could take back, but yeah, look,
Are you aggressive with the seatbelt?
No, I'm
Does it happen
gentle.
like after golf, or like what
Gotta
is it?
keep a consistent speed, keep it nice and smooth.
Mm.
That's your quote, isn't it? Nice and easy.
Nice and easy. So I have been consistent for the last 5 years with this seatbelt, very consistent, and now it's jamming for no reason. So that's what I'm holding out on this week. Good, reliable seatbelts, non-yankers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Lovely, cool. All right, guys, it's been a great episode. Great talking to you again. On that note, we'll yank it out of here.
Yeah.
Till next time.
Yeah.
Yank
See ya.
off.
Oh, Jesus.